Dear students, and I hope that the last video which I have prepared regarding the first lesson which is included in your pre-midterm examination, it has gone off well, and it might have helped you in understanding the chapter in a better way, though the videos are there already from the month of April, which you can watch whenever you want to and whenever you feel like. Now this chapter Indigo, I'm not going to do the reading of the entire chapter. It must be done by you, and I expect that you people might have already purchased the textbooks, because they are the NCERT books and easily available in the market. And I'm saying so because for the pre-midterm examination, not only for this, textbook reading is a must for you people to know the context of the chapter clearly. Now, coming to this chapter Indigo, which has been written by Louis Fisher, it is about the fact that how Gandhiji succeeded in making himself believe that he can chase out the Britishers from his motherland. Second thing is that how he made the Indians believe that they can do the same thing, the way how he is thinking. So paragraph wise what is given I'll be explaining. Beside this, in this chapter it has been shown that how Gandhiji succeeded in developing self-reliance within the Indians, and also the main base of the story, that is the sharecropping, which is based on this title also, Indigo. Indigo, the title which is given over here, it has been extracted from the blue color flower which is used for dyeing purpose, means coloring of cloth. And also the story rotates round over there, and then it moves about, and somewhere it gets linked up with the Indian freedom struggle. Now Indigo, when we talk about Indigo, chapter starts with the fact that Louis Fisher, he goes to Gandhiji, because this is basically a biography been written by him on Gandhiji, and one small extract of it has been given for you people. In this, when he visited Gandhiji, that was around somewhere in 1942, and he asked him about his journey of freedom struggle. He said that frankly speaking, he got this idea, or a turning came in his life regarding this mission of freedom struggle somewhere in 1917. Actually, in 1916, Gandhiji, he happens to go for a meeting. He happens to go for a meeting which was held in Lucknow, and there many other people were also there. Many other delegates were there, many other representatives were there, and there he happens to meet this man. Who was this man? This man was a peasant, a farmer, and Gandhiji says that he looked like any other farmer, like same way poor, and then weak, malnourished, illiterate, and that kind of look. And he said to Gandhiji that he is Rajkumar Shukla from Champaran, and he wanted that Gandhiji must go along with him to his district. Gandhiji had never heard of the place named Champaran, though now he was knowing, when he was narrating the incident to Louis Fisher, that it was it was in Himalayas near the kingdom of Nepal. Now, why Rajkumar Shukla came to Gandhiji? That's what this paragraph is about, under an ancient arrangement. Actually, in Champaran, from long time, from years, Britishers were ruling our country, and one arrangement had been made, or an agreement had been made, that the peasants, the Indian farmers, they will be sharecroppers, and Rajkumar Shukla was one among them. Though he was not literate, but still he was very, you can say that, firm. He was in whatever he thought of, and because of that reason, when he wanted to solve this problem of sharecropping, someone said to him that just go and speak to Gandhi. And then this man reached to Lucknow. Gandhiji said to Shukla that he had to go for appointments which he are having already, and to various parts of the country. Shukla accompanied him everywhere. Wherever Gandhiji went, he also followed him. Gandhiji was really, you can say that he was impressed by the way this man had never left his side, and he was so very, you can say, firm to take him and go. And then when he spoke to Shukla again, Shukla just begged to him that please fix a date and come along with me to my place. And then he was totally impressed um, by the tenacity. Tenacity means the firmness of his, and he said that okay, I'm going to Calcutta for a meeting, and then after the meeting we will go to your place. And then it was not like tomorrow the meeting took place and day after tomorrow they left. Months passed, and Shukla, he never left his side. He was sitting on his haunches waiting for Gandhiji in Calcutta. Before him, he reached over there and he waited over there. And Gandhiji, as he promised him, after the meeting got over in Calcutta, he decided to go with him. And the place was Patna. And then they boarded the train and they reached over there. And when they got down in the station, Rajkumar Shukla took him straight away to his lawyer, Rajendra Prasad. Yes, Rajendra Prasad, the then lawyer and then first president of our country, free country, India. But he was out of town and his servants were there. They knew him that they knew very well that it was Rajkumar Shukla who always keep on coming there talking to their master about the things and all. So they knew that he is a poor peasant and all those things. And Gandhiji went with them, with him, and you know how Gandhiji used to dress up very simple in khadi, dhoti and kurta and all those things. So they thought that maybe he is also a peasant. They both were made to sit down in the courtyard itself. They were not even permitted to take out water from the well, because in those days untouchability rate was very high, and they believed that if while taking out the water, if a drop of water fall down, the entire place will get polluted. That was the peak of untouchability in our country. Then this poor illiterate fellow, he could not give Gandhiji much detail. So Gandhiji decided that while going to Champaran, before that he will get down in Muzaffarpur. So he telegrammed to one professor named as Kriplani, and he said that I am coming. Then he got down on the station. It was April 15, 1917, and when 1917, just think, 1916 convention, he met Rajkumar Shukla, and there he had landed at Muzaffarpur on 15th April 1917. Kriplani and many other students in a big crowd came to receive him, and he was made to stay in another professor Malkani's house. And Gandhiji appreciates the hospitality of Malkani and courage of Malkani, because in those days it was not easy to give shelter or harbor to someone who was fighting against the government. And Professor Malkani was a government employee. The news that Gandhiji has come over there, it spread like a fire, and the farmers, they believed that a champion has come to take them out of their stressful condition. So it was like everybody started pouring in. They wanted to see their champion. Muzaffarpur lawyers, they confronted front of Gandhiji about the case and the amount of fees and what was the basic progress, and they got nice scolding from Gandhiji for charging such big amount as fees from the poor sharecroppers. And he believed that there was no use of going to the court, because the first and the foremost thing was to take out the fear which was deeply rooted in the heart of the sharecroppers towards this British landlords. Now, what is this indigo sharecropping? Actually, whatever arable means where the cultivation could take place, means the land suitable for agriculture, where they are available in Champaran. They were under the holding of the British landlords, and the British landlords, they used to give this to the Indian farmers on rent, and in under one condition: whatever land they will take, in that compulsorily 15% of area, they have to 15% of their holding, means whatever land they take, they have to grow indigo, and that indigo after harvest will go into the hands of the British landlords as rent. Means 15% total loss is there. Then what happened? Germany, they invented synthetic indigo, and when they invented synthetic indigo, automatically this natural indigo's market price was supposed to go down. So there was no use of having it. So the British landlords, they thought of another idea. They said to the sharecroppers that if you want to come out of this arrangement, this agreement, you pay us the compensation. Poor peasants, they were already tired of this agreement. Some of them, they paid off the money. Some said that no, we won't, and they hired lawyers. When they hired lawyers, this British landlords, they hired the goons, the gundas. And then meanwhile, those people who had given the money, they came to know that what was the actual story behind it, that the synthetic indigo has come in the market, and that's why the natural indigo was of no use. So actually the British landlords were supposed to be in loss, so that's why they just took out a profit out of asking this compensation. So they started asking their money back. This time Gandhiji reached over there. This was the time when he reached over there. And then he started collecting facts. First, he went to the secretary of the British Landlord Association. And there he was like cheated or bullied. Dhamki dena. So he was asked to just go off by being said that he was an outsider. He was totally shocked that how can Indian be an outsider in India itself. And then he went to the British official commissioner, and there he was given a threat that you must go away from here, you must leave Tirhut. Gandhiji paid no attention. Instead of that, he went to Motihari, which is the capital of Champaran, and there several lawyers were there. He took one house on rent and turned it into headquarters and started collecting the various reports and all. And then suddenly one report came meanwhile that a villager was maltreated somewhere nearby, and to see him sitting down on the back of an elephant, Gandhiji went. But midway he was stopped by an official message, means a police messenger stopped him and asked him to go back to the town from where he started. And after reaching over there, the messenger gave him a message that he must leave the Motihari immediately. So Gandhiji, he signed the notice or the order which has come to him, and he also wrote in that he's not going to follow any of those things. He's going to disobey the order. Actually, he knew it what will happen. He himself was a barrister, so he knew that definitely summons will come, and summons reached. He was supposed to be there for the court trial and the next day itself, and that very night he stayed awake, and he called up Rajendra Prasad and asked him to come with all the influential people over there. Also, he wrote the entire report to the viceroy also. And then the next day morning, Motihari was turned black in the sense that numerous number of peasants' head were there waiting for Gandhiji. Nobody knew about Gandhiji's that previous record of South Africa, how and what happened over there. They just wanted to help Gandhi, because they knew that some Mahatma has come over there to help them, and he himself fallen into a trouble. When they all gathered round the courthouse, the British government was totally baffled. They were totally shocked, because they never thought of this kind of protest from their side, or this kind of a demonstration from their side. And then they asked Gandhiji on whom they have accused that he is to be charged for something that was against the government. They asked him to come and control the crowd. Very politely and friendly manner he controlled the crowd. But the most important thing is that he gave a very solid proof to the Britishers that your challenge, which was not being checked out or challenged by your strength, which was not being challenged by the Indians, is now going to be challenged by the Indians. He gave them a solid proof. And then the prosecutor, he requested to the judge to postpone the trial. Then the authorities, they said that they want to make some consultancy. Gandhiji protested. He said that why you are delaying so much, and he said that he accepted one thing. He made one statement over there. He said that I am torn between two duties. One duty is of being a lawyer. I don't want to break the rules. I don't want to break a law and be a bad example for others. But the second thing is that humanitarian brown. That is the duty towards the other humans that I cannot overlook. So he asked for the penalty. The magistrate, he said that they will resume the court after after a 2-hour recess, and he asked Gandhiji, you do one thing, you get the bail for this 120 minutes. Gandhiji said, no, I'm not going to get the bail. So he released Gandhiji without the bail. And then after 2 hours, when they came back, the judge said that the statement will be given afterwards, and Gandhiji was given the liberty to go. Many very famous lawyers of that time, they came to meet Gandhiji, and then Gandhiji asked them that if I am put in jail, what you're going to do? One of the lawyers said that if you are going to put jail, we will go back home. Then Gandhiji shot another question, that then what about the sharecroppers? This was a real slap on their face, because they started thinking that if Gandhiji, who didn't even belong to that district, to that place, to that state, if he is ready to go to jail for those poor peasants, why can't we do something? So they came back after some consultancies, and they said that we are ready to go with you to the jail. And then Gandhiji was very happy, and he said that the battle of Champaran will be won, and this was the first time the civil disobedience movement was successful in India, or triumphed in India. Gandhiji and the lawyers, now they started making inquiries about the various grievances of the landlords, of the farmers, and then they have collected pretty good evidences. And meanwhile, the landlords were like protesting in a very wide range, in a wide scale. And then in June, Gandhiji was called by Sir Edward Gate, the lieutenant governor of that time, and then he did one more thing. Gandhiji, before going for that meeting, he again called the other lawyers. He had a meeting with them, and he said that if I am put in jail for any reason, again that civil disobedience has to be put into action. And they had around some 4 meetings with the lieutenant governor, and then an official commission was set up, in which from the landlord side people were there, then the government officials were there, and from farmer side only one person was there, that was Gandhiji. Gandhiji says that he thought that he will go to Champaran and then he will sort out the matter and he will come back. It took nearly 1 year of his life, and he says that it was like the official inquiry which was set up, that he had given enough proof which could prove very clearly that the British landlords have done very wrong thing, illegal thing against the poor farmers, and then they must compensate the farmers. So they asked Gandhiji how much they should pay. Then they thought that he might ask that full thing has to be given, which they have illegally, and you can say that by the way they dished them, they have to give the full amount. But he didn't ask like that. He said that 50%. And then when he was stubborn with that 50%, and then after some time, the representative of the planters or the landlords, they said about some 25%, and then suddenly Gandhiji agreed to it, which was a total shock for everyone, because the man who said first of all 50% and was not ready less than that suddenly agreed for 25%. When he was asked a question about this, Gandhiji said that actually it was not necessary that money matters in this case, because 50%, 25% was not that big matter. The most important thing was that the British landlords were parting with their prestige, means they were bowing their head down, so, and that was very important thing. And this taught the farmers that they can stand. Now they were confident that they are having a backup, they can stand to defend themselves against the injustice. And slowly the landlords, in the long run, they gave off the entire ownership into the hands of the farmers, and indigo sharecropping came to an end. Now Gandhiji, he was a kind of a man who believed that only political way only upliftment cannot be done for a community or for a place or the society. socio-economic development is also important. So he thought of doing that for Champaran because Champaran was very backward. He made some appeal to the people, and listening and hearing to it, they came up for teaching, for being in the hospitals, and then in that way they set up some 6 primary schools. They had a health center where they had some medicines, common medicines for various ailments. And then Gandhiji, even though he was sitting down in the place like Champaran, he had a complete contact of his ashram, and he used to keep an interaction with them. And then further it has been said, he calls Champaran episode to be a turning point in his life. The most, maybe because of one fact he says so, that is, he says that that episode taught me that the Britishers cannot give me order in my own country, because I'm an Indian, and how can an outsider give me order in my own country, India? And moreover, the Champaran episode started as an act for justice, and then suddenly it turned out to be something else. I think that is how the Gandhi's pattern of working is. His work is not used to be involved only to the personal problems or any of the political problems. It used to be something related to a huge mass. And then in this way he started trying to mold the new free India. And then in the last para, one of his disciple Andrew came to meet him. And when he came to meet him, all the other lawyers, they thought that Andrew is an Englishman, and if he you can say that becomes a part of the battle against the Britishers, maybe he can be a good help. So Andrew said that okay, if Gandhiji is okay with it, I'm okay with it. But Gandhiji got angry, and he understood why the lawyers were thinking in that manner, and he said that you must learn to believe yourself. If you are standing against something which is unjust, which is wrong, then you must believe it, that you are right. That is why the thing you are fighting against is right. And that is the confidence you must develop, that what you are doing is right, so you must not be afraid of. And moreover, to use something else or someone else as a prop to win your battle is not going to give you anything in your life. I mean to say is that for shooting something using someone else's shoulder is totally wrong. And in this way, this lesson tells us that Gandhiji, he taught self-reliance to the lawyers. He helped the Indians to believe in themselves, to come together, to unite, and then fight against the Britishers. So this chapter is around 3 things: self-reliance, Indian independence, and help to the sharecroppers. And in this way, the indigo chapter and indigo sharecropping comes to end. Hopefully, you people will go through the entire chapter peacefully and attentively for you to understand each and every part for the coming examination. So till the next video.